My sister skipped my wedding to elope with my husband's troubled cousin, then demanded I help her sue him after learning he was a deceptive addict. For context, I got married last week, and on my wedding day, my younger sister, Emily, 24, who was supposed to be my maid of honor, ditched me to secretly wed my husband's problematic cousin. Emily and I, 27, have always had a turbulent relationship. When things are good, they are amazing, but when we clash, it gets intense. This dynamic has defined our bond for years, yet despite our ups and downs, we've always cared deeply for each other. That's why, despite our frequent spats, we stayed connected even after moving out of our parents' house. Looking back, I realize our relationship was somewhat unhealthy, but it was what we knew, and we worked to remain part of each other's lives, even if we often irritated one another. The root of our conflicts, I believe, lies in how different we are as people. Emily has always been impulsive and free-spirited, while I'm the opposite, organized, meticulous, and always planning ahead. These differences often clashed, but when my parents suggested making her my maid of honor to strengthen our bond, I warmed to the idea after some persuasion. I've been with my husband for 4 years, and we got engaged earlier this year. Originally, I didn't plan on having bridesmaids or a maid of honor. I'm not someone with a large circle of close friends, partly by choice and partly because I'm not great at staying in touch. My husband and I wanted a small, intimate wedding, so we initially decided against a bridal party. But my parents convinced me that having Emily as my maid of honor would be special, and after some thought, I agreed. When I asked her, she was thrilled, and since I wasn't having other bridesmaids, I figured she'd be enough. The months leading up to the wedding were enjoyable, and Emily and I got along surprisingly well, so I never suspected she'd pull off what she did on my wedding day. Instead of supporting me as my maid of honor, she vanished, only to reappear that evening with her new husband, my husband's shady cousin, Mark, 36. Mark, who's been divorced twice, had been flirting with Emily in the weeks before the wedding, which I found unsettling given their 12-year age gap and his recent divorce. I call him shady because, according to my husband, Mark has a history of making women uncomfortable. For clarity, Mark wasn't invited to our wedding. My husband doesn't get along with him, and he's not well liked by most of the family, except his parents. However, we made the mistake of inviting his parents to an informal family brunch we hosted 2 weeks before the wedding. For some reason, they brought Mark along. Not wanting to cause a scene, we let him stay, assuming he'd behave. That's when he and Emily met. I noticed them flirting at the brunch, with Emily sitting next to him the whole time. I wasn't okay with it, knowing Mark's reputation, but I thought it was a one-time thing and didn't bring it up later. I was preoccupied with wedding planning and didn't think their interaction would escalate. After the brunch, my father-in-law told his brother, Mark's father, that while we tolerated Mark's presence that day, he wasn't welcome at the wedding since he wasn't close to us. Mark's parents weren't thrilled but agreed to respect our wishes. Unbeknownst to us, Emily and Mark had exchanged numbers and were texting daily since the brunch. Emily never mentioned this to me, and I didn't ask, assuming nothing serious was happening. Had she told me, I would have warned her about Mark's character. Instead, I can't tell you the full story in short. To watch the full story, click the related link below.